So it's kind of dark outside. I'm finally back online. I'm finally home again, and I'm petting my hair like I've got a little animal here. I feel like a little animal. Right before we left to go to the hospital, I saw a quadrumundi in my yard. I wish I had a quadrumundi to pet right now. I'd be a lot happier. For those of you that don't know who I am, I'm Suzanne Titchemeyer. I used to write a column called No Longer Quivering for Pathos for nearly 10 years. I'm doing a lot of different things now, including this. So it is what it is. And I somehow got sucked into this crazy anti KJ community. Hey, number one fan, Bugs, reality of Costa Rica. So it's been a crazy, crazy couple of weeks. I'm just going to say, don't hate anybody I'm going to talk about because even the people I'm annoyed with, don't hate them, don't bully them. It's just ridiculous. Hey, Danielle. So I have a couple really funny stories to tell today. Well, sort of funny, but kind of disgusting. Husband was in the hospital last week, or this past week. I got a cold. A cold picked up at the hospital, I feel pretty certain. Christine, he is doing well, but it's not been quite the easy thing that we were told it would be. His gallbladder started rupturing. Yes, I did finally, Java Man. They're hysterical, and I need some levity right now. I'm going to talk about that. His gallbladder started rupturing as he was doing the surgery, so they had pus and fluids and things all over the place. So, which should have been, like they said, 45-minute surgery morphed into 3 hours. So, as a result of how difficult it all was, he had to stay in the hospital longer. We stayed in San Jose longer. We're just now back the last couple of days. I now face Mount Laundry, which I've had to do because my kids were here in the middle of all this. So I didn't get to participate in all this drama that's going on in the community and everywhere else. So when I got back, I ended up watching the whole Harry and Meghan thing on Netflix and hating myself the whole time I was watching it. Christine, that was what I wanted to say. Every day we've had to go back and forth to the clinic here for him to have IV antibiotics, IV antibiotics, and IV pain meds and pain pills and things. So it has been an exotic time. And the most exotic part about the entire time was there are a lot of people that have tried to, at the church he goes to, try to push themselves on him and everything else. At one point, I had to say, "Give me your phone." We took it away from him because people were stressing him out when he was really, really sick. And it was like, shut up, stop talking. So I said, I don't know where your charger is. And we let it ride for a few days, but it's all back again. We hadn't been home 10 minutes when somebody PM'd me and said, "Hey, can I come over?" And I was, no. He said no. He says he feels like, you know what, like SIT. So he feels bad. We haven't let anyone over. But while we've been going back and forth to the clinic, I heard the strangest tale the other day, and it kind of sort of relates. It relates to a lot of the community drama we're seeing going on back and forth. I think it relates even to the Harry and Meghan thing. Like I said, I kind of hate myself for watching it. I'm kind of thinking I need to like scrub my brain and cry now. I refuse to watch Harry and Meghan. I don't want to give them a view. Christine, I was on the fence and decided I would do it. And I'm kind of sorry I did. And there's some ways it relates to our whole crazy community here too. Here's what I took my takeaway. Harry is a very nice Tim, but dim, rather dim. He's not the smartest guy. His mother, Diana, would be the first person to tell you she wasn't book smart. He ain't book smart either. Who are Harry and Meghan? Java Man, I'm talking about Prince Harry Windsor, the English. I don't know how far back in line he is now, but he's pretty far back now that Prince William has started having babies. And his wife, Meghann Markle. She was an actress on Suits. They departed from the royalty, was it 2 years ago? After throwing hands, and yeah. And I was not that interested in them and not a big fan of hers. Interesting, weirdo, small world. She was in a film that 7M Productions either produced or financed or something. So she has her own weird little link to Robert Shen, who is suing her, who we will not talk about. So this is all just so incestuous and weird and small worldish. Yes. So small world. Husband's not smart, but he wants to protect his wife. There's only one problem. His wife, Meghann, the more I watched this, more I thought, this is just another one of she who shall not be mentioned. I came away thinking that Meghann was a narcissist, and listening to her tales of this and that, and being put down for being different race. I didn't even know she was for the longest time. She doesn't look it. And looking at the pictures of her from her childhood till now, she has taken some big steps to conceal her ethnicity, I think. And I don't blame her, because that would have made it hard for her to work in Hollywood, I think. So I can't blame her for wanting to be something else. But at the same time, I was reminded of Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt and the ridiculous character of Jacqueline. So it's a small world, and I think that we're dealing with family dysfunction. We're dealing with a narcissist that has isolated their husband from everyone they know. Doesn't that sound familiar? Todd. It does sound very familiar to me. So I'm like watching this going, brain scrubber. And she made all these things. Christine, that's what narcissists do. They don't have decent relationships with their family at all. And now she's isolated Harry from his family. And now she has him on West Coast. She's even pretty much virtually isolated from his friends. And there are times when isolation is appropriate. I isolated my husband during his surgical adventures by saying, hand me your phone, loser, at one point because of the stress levels. And my conclusion was snowflake. Yes, whining snowflake. It was like she thought she was going to join the royal family and have to get all the huge perks without any effort on her part, any output. And let me tell you, even though I'm not a big fan of royalty in general, the Queen Elizabeth and her husband and her children have worked incredibly hard as royals, going out and opening supermarkets and all that sort of thing. And it's not just handed to you on a plate. With great privilege and power comes great responsibility. And so I think the minor responsibilities they have are not something to be whined about at all. So I was not impressed. I think Meghann is a raving narcissist on so many levels, and they're both kind of snowflakey in their own weird way. So I had to protect my husband from people that were wanting his time and various things when he was sick in the bed. Right now, he's outside in the backyard, laying down on the chaise lounge, taking a long series of naps. I can't complain. The next challenge comes tomorrow. A bunch of people have already said, hey, take me to church. And he's sure, without even thinking about the fact that he's not allowed to drive. The solution is just don't read the stuff in the British tabloid press. Yep, exactly. And I rarely do anyway. They can't make you do that. Well, they sure are trying. So I heard a crazy tale, and it kind of relates to me to what we're seeing in our community. The other day we were at the doctor's office, and my husband's getting his IV. And in the next little ER bay over, we hear a familiar voice, and we're going, I'm just going to call the guy number one. He said somebody he knows from church. He was involved with somebody else he knows from church. So guy number one is at the clinic because he has a broken arm, broken ribs, a little gash on his head that's bleeding profusely. And he fell off his motorcycle. Well, actually, let me rephrase it. He didn't fall off his motorcycle. He did fall off his motorcycle, letting go of it to hit a car because somebody cut in front of him and just about killed him on his way to Bible study. Didn't the British tabloid press quote the troll that shall not be named? Of course they did. Of course they do. They always do. Oh, hey, Grace. So guy number one is in there in a bad way. And the lady who caused the accident is paying for his treatment stuff. And he's fine. He walked out of there. I was surprised at the fact that he was able to walk out of there after being basically into a wreck. But that wasn't the part that kind of made me laugh a little bit. He lent his car when he went back to his home country to guy number two. Guy number two is somebody who has taken advantage of Gemini many times. Oh, top of a man, he should, but he won't. I don't think he has much going on up here as far as I could tell. So guy one lent guy to his car and said, because he's selling it, and said, hey, try it for a couple of months. And then when I come back, we can settle up, or you can tell me no. Guy number one came back, and guy number two, the user, had trashed the car, trashed it. It wasn't runnable, didn't run at all. So here's where I had to bite my tongue yesterday to keep from laughing, and it reminded me so much of some of the drama in our YouTube streets. Guy number one was on his way to Sunday school, to Bible study at the church. H&M, she used him, using him so hard. Grace, exactly. Guy number one had his accident, and as he's laying on the roadway here in Costa Rica bleeding with his arm at a weird, impossible angle, guy number two drives up in another borrowed car. And he has the window down, he smiles, and he waves, and he drives on past the bleeding person on the pavement. When I heard that, I was just like, whoa, because that's one of the coldest things I've ever heard of in my life. And when guy number one was leaving the clinic, he was just running his mouth about guy number two. I'm really curious to see what's going to happen with them. But it reminds me of what's going on in the community, because last night, there's been a lot of, I'm just going to call it effery going on. A lot of effery, people joining this group, unjoining that group, instead of being decent with each other. Yeah, Java man, except that should be the bad Samaritan. And I had to look up the Good Samaritan laws for Costa Rica after that just to see. And there are Good Samaritan laws. He was required to stop and help, and he didn't. So we've got all this effery going on. That reminds me of guy number two. So much effery going on, and people going, I am so great. I am so great. I am so great. You suck. You suck. And I'm looking at this going, you all suck. You all suck. But yesterday night, apparently there was a live stream that really showed that the allegiances have shifted again. They've shifted stupidly somehow. Aaron did a live stream with Tara Nicole. Now, I don't know Tara Nicole. I've never watched her. Oh, Java man, maybe he was the first guy in the Good Samaritan story. I don't know. So Aaron did a live stream with Tara Nicole. Now, Aaron is free to like anybody she likes, dislike anybody she likes, do a live stream with whoever she wants or doesn't want. It's really all on her. She can do whatever she wants, but that doesn't mean that everybody has to support it. I don't know who Tara Nicole is. I've never watched. I try to keep myself off to the side because I got other stuff going on, like this stupid gallbladder, and keeping my husband well and safe. So I didn't see any of this last night. I saw she was live, but I was like, I got to lay down. I'm fighting a cold. I'm not myself. Sandra Jose is ringed by volcanoes that slightly built smoke every now and then, so it was really hard to be there. And Apparently, there was a lot of things that were said and done that were particularly ugly last night. I'm hearing secondhand. I don't want to say what they are because I haven't had a chance to sit down and watch what happened. But apparently, allegiances have shifted again and shifted horribly. One of the people who shifted their allegiance is actually hooked up with the people who started the rumor about them that got their channel just about crashed. I don't know, I want to say about 6 months ago. So I'm watching all this and it's like, why can't we just be mature? Hey, Mima, why can't we all just be mature and admit we like who we like, we dislike who we like? Call out the effery when you see it, like saying Meghan's a narcissist and Harry's dim. If there are Harry's and Meghan's in your life, or if you've got guy number one and guy number two, thinking, well, I hear guy number one sucks, but I've never had anything to do with him. But I know for a fact guy number two sucks. And just not putting up with it. I'm just not having anything. I'm just like going, mm-mm, mm-mm. So that was going on yesterday. And a lot of ugly things were said. My understanding is BX Beast Boy wanted to come in and talk. And when he did, he wasn't respected and cut off and various things. I don't know. I wasn't there. But I kind of hate to see that. Now, I picked a BX Beast Boy a few times myself for sad fishing in the old days. But that was before I saw the Alps level climbing, hey, Brooklyn, of the sad fishing of one Michelle Sabate or any number of other people who are sad fishing for money for all kinds of silly things. And I just like watching some of these things going, some people have some very unmitigated gall to ask for that kind of money. And it's like, oh my goodness, what the heck, what the heck, what the heck? Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it at all. I guess it's because I'm just in a different headspace than all the rest of them. I don't get it. So they're telling me right now that Aaron has gone live again, this time with PJ of all people. Now, Real Entertainment News is live with her too, supposedly. I don't hold anything against him, but I don't have anything for him either. I kind of reached the end of my rope with the stuff he was saying about Roadhog's wife. I don't care if the woman is an axe murderer. You don't run around tamale. Yeah, no, there are a number of really crazy wish lists out there and really crazy people that are asking for this stuff. And I'm like, oh my goodness. I saw one day one creator beg for the money to go to McDonald's. McDonald's, really, really, really? If I'm going to beg for the money, get a steak or something more than that. Sounds like the plot is getting lost. Java Man, I think the plot is getting lost for a lot of folks. They don't seem to realize that, everybody's free to like and dislike who they want. All this wars between this side, that side, and gossips about this one or the other, they're just retarded. I'm just going to throw that out there. I know that word is wrong, retard, and I have to make myself stop using it, but it just pops out of my mouth every now and then. It is stupid. Let me put it that way. Not retarded. It's stupid. And I'm looking at this going, these are a pack of grown ass women acting like this. Grown women. Oh my goodness. Oh, Mima. Oh, I'm embarrassed when I say those things. I'm like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I said that. So I just can't. I just can't. And as it is, I'm going to have to figure out a way to tell those people that have loaded my husband with the chore of driving him that they're not getting a ride tomorrow. And that he may not be going to church because I don't think he's ready yet. I don't think he's anywhere near ready because he's still so full of narcotics. I don't see there be any benefit for him sitting in the physical church building tomorrow. And I would have to drive him. And since they will not guarantee my safety against people bringing their dogs in the church and me reacting the dog hair, Dramageddons of YouTube. I know that. And Java Man, I don't get it. So I'm kind of distancing myself from everyone who's doing this stuff. Now, I'm supposed to be on Jay's panel on Monday with Aaron, and I'm having serious second thoughts about that. Not because I hate Aaron or anything, but because no good can come of it. I don't know if I can keep my mouth shut. Ah, I'm a boomer. I am too. I found you from KJ, and you had her peg right from the beginning. Meemaw, I worked with her for a year before um, all this stuff went down. So I saw I saw her action. So are people aligning with KJ? Yes. No, no, no. People are aligning with KJ, Grace. Large groups of people who've said and done horrible stuff against KJ are now aligning with her. And it's kind of disturbing to watch. And they're not always just aligning with her. It's like I'm aligning against this person. Mostly, I'm curious as to the ending of this story. I want to see too. Shut the front door. Yeah. 300,000 subs. Do you really think she does? I think she bought a lot of those subs just based upon the way her subs went. It's like years ago, I did Nano Mo. I used to do it every year. I did it this year. I've done it other years. And we had a lady that I knew to be a plagiarist who never wrote more than a couple of lines herself. And she participated in NaNoWriMo, and every day she uploaded exactly 5,000 words. I mean, not a word a below or above. And anybody who's participated in NaNoWriMo can tell you that a certain word count like that every single day is suspicious as hell. So we were all trying to get Nano to do something. And they said, this is all an honor system, blah, blah, blah. But I look at that, that's the exact same thing that she does. She buys her subs. And this woman was uploading stuff she'd written before. Poor sister wives. Yeah, I hate Cody too. Cody is a sleaze bucket. He really is, in my opinion. Anytime you have a religious organization where you have men with that much power over women, it always just goes bad. There's just no redeeming of it, as far as I'm concerned. It brings out the worst in men. And it sometimes brings out the worst in women because they're forced to compete for a man. And that really gets ugly. It's just getting uglier and more intertwined like high school. Grace Peters, exactly. It's exactly like high school. And I didn't have patience for high school. I don't have patience for this. There is just so much else that's worth doing in this world that this is not it at all. Not at all. Oh, so anytime you see somebody trying to dictate who you can be friends with or have interaction with, whether it's Meghann Markle or you know who or somebody in the community, I would recommend just sashaying away from that person. You don't have to fight with them. You don't have to say anything ugly. You don't even have to point out to them how wrong they are. You just can away. It's just, you're right. It's not worth the time. It's not worth the effort. And when somebody reveals a true self to you, I mean, it behooves you to listen to them and say, okay, I see you, boo. I am going to go do my thing, and it's going to be far, far, far away from you. Breathe in, breathe out, move on. One of my favorite songs, it has to do with Hurricane Katrina. So I'm excited. We're on the cusp of dry season here, which means I'll be able to breathe again without asthma. If I hadn't caught a damn cold at the hospital with my husband. But I have to shout out Hospital Metropolitano in San Jose. It is bright and modern. It's a wonderful hospital. People work there are really good, and I've had nothing but excellent care there. So is my husband. They hit it out of the ballpark again. I'm very happy with that. But I'm going to have to go. I'm cooking a ham right now. We never did even get a chance to eat a holiday meal. We didn't get a chance to have Thanksgiving. We were going to have it with our kids. And then all this went down. My husband came down with his gallbladder problems the first full day the kids were here. So it's been one thing after another with them. So y'all have a great evening too. And try not to get dragged into any of this stupid side dramas. It's just like, no. It's like, I'm going over here now. I can't look at you. I hate to do that to people, but I don't know. I read that the Princess of Wales mentioned making her own documentary and she has receipts. Um, that would be interesting. That would be very interesting. I still think Todd should get to work on making those guitars to cover the verdict. Java Man, that was the best thing about mocking media's Christmas gift list for KJ was that he showed a guy actually really making guitars, not assembling them from kits. I would watch that too. I would like to. I'd be very interested in. Have a great evening. I'm going to go ahead on go before I lose voice. And I don't know if I'll be back tomorrow or when, but I will be back shortly. Love you guys.